Hey friends, it's Lisa again, trying for time two of a live video this evening. I tried earlier outside and it was kind of a colossal disaster. Not only was the internet connection really crappy, but a donkey decided to really want to make himself heard. So I'll post the blooper reel later just for fun because it was kind of entertaining. Anyway, I wanted to talk about meaning and messages in nature. There are many of us who actually feel a stronger connection to anything divine when we're outside than when we're inside. We're more likely to feel God's presence, or whatever you want to call him, but or her, feel God's presence on a riverbank or in the middle of the woods or on a dirt road than we actually do in a church pew. And that, I'll say, has always been the case for me. And I have found that when I'm open to being aware, when I'm open to looking and to listening and to actually connecting, that there have been incredible messages in nature that almost seem divinely inspired. And so if you've had that experience, I would love to hear about it, mention it, chat about it or something. But I've found that so often that nature actually confirms things for me, confirms messages for me. So yesterday I was driving home from Miami. I'd gone up to see my mom in Miami, and I was driving back to the little cottage on the farm, and I got this big message that felt like a message from God while I was driving. And I found that messages from God for me come when I'm doing something else, washing the dishes, taking a shower, driving, being bored on my treadmill, whatever it might be. But it's like there's a part of my brain that's otherwise busy, and so God can pop in and share what God has to say. Anyway, it was a big message. And when this happens, there's still a part of me that's like, okay, is this real? Or do I just have a really active imagination? Am I losing my mind, or is there something to this? So what I asked was, all right, God, if this is real, give me a sign. Give me a sign. In fact, I'm going to be specific about the sign. Could you please show me a dragonfly? Between now and the time I walk in the door at the cottage, just show me a dragonfly, and that way that'll be like my clue that we actually had this conversation. So when I turned off the highway onto the dirt road going toward my house, I looked out into the fields, and the fields were just in perpetual movement, like the fields were dancing. And as I looked closer, it was dragonflies, like literally hundreds and hundreds of dragonflies just dancing out in these fields. As I drove up the dirt road, some of these dragonflies were actually, following, going along with my car, flying along the side of the car as I drove. When I got out at the cottage, I looked out in the field in front of my house, and again, so many, probably 40 or 50 in that field, so many dragonflies just out there, and some started coming toward me, and I was like, all right, I was asking for one dragonfly. I think I got it. Thanks. I think I got it. The thing is, we can ask for signs at any time. At any time. And part of it is being willing to develop a relationship with nature and develop a trust with spirit, however you envision spirit, that when we ask for signs, when we ask for symbols, that we actually receive them. Now, the first time dragonflies started coming up for me was actually on a trip to Santa Fe in January. A lady I met there, Sonia. Hey, Sonia, if you're watching, she dragonfly energy is kind of her thing. And I really hadn't thought about dragonflies before. And so I started learning more about what that meant. And the symbolism behind dragonfly is really pretty fascinating. I learned as I did a little bit more research that dragonfly symbolism really revolves around the ideas of transformation and the ideas of change, and light and adaptability, and the opportunity to fly with things when life gets kind of turbulent, to just kind of move through it and be adaptable. But it also is related to joy. And that's something that's been kind of a perpetual message for me over the course of the past year. As many of you know, the past year has been pretty challenging. And dragonfly energy, I'm not surprised that it's coming through. You know, a couple months ago, I was encouraged to go on a trip to Eureka Springs, Arkansas. And actually, that's where I came across this necklace. Didn't expect to buy a dragonfly necklace, but it was like, I'm going home with you. And this little guy I got there, he wanted to come home too. Just, you know, so now I've got dragonflies around the house. Got a pillow back there that's a dragonfly. There's dragonflies everywhere now. But while I was in Eureka Springs, I knew I had some specific energetic things I needed to do there. It was kind of like I was on divine assignment. So I asked, you know, at first I'm like, why am I here? What am I doing? And I'm asking this of the divine. I'm like, what am I doing? What's my assignment? And the first thing I was told is, find your joy. You need to reclaim your joy. It's time you find it again. You know, as assignments go, an assignment from the divine that says, go have fun and find some joy, I'll take that. Okay, I'm good with that one. So that's what I set out to do the first day or two that I was there, was just find my joy. And what was interesting is that the place where I was staying, it was a bed and breakfast, and the woman who owned the bed and breakfast had lost her husband in October of last year. And she asked me, she said, you know, so what are you here for? What are you here to do? And I said, well, actually, I'm here to find joy. And she looked at me so strange, like she hadn't even contemplated that finding joy was an option. You know, and we got to talking about how we'd both lost our husbands recently and had that commonality. But here I'm out working to try to find joy. Not really working. I mean, how do you work to try to find joy? But being open to joy. And that thought hadn't really crossed her mind of it being a possibility. And at that moment, I knew that there was no doubt that I had stayed at that particular bed and breakfast at that time for a reason. But if you see dragonflies, I swear I have seen more dragonflies and have posted pictures. And thank you, John Pogue, for telling me the difference between a dragonfly and a damselfly, because I had no idea. Damselflies are smaller, have one set of wings. Dragonflies are bigger, have two sets of wings. I didn't know this. So thank you. You taught me something. But so many messages and meanings and so much symbolism can come through nature and the animals that surround us and even the trees and the earth that surrounds us. So if you find something repeating in your environment, maybe you see a certain animal over and over again, like I was seeing the dragonfly, look it up. Just do a quick Google search to see what its meaning or symbolism is, because there might be a message in there for you. When I first moved back into this house, I kept seeing bunnies. I mean, bunnies. There were bunnies everywhere. I kept seeing bunnies. Now, in my mind, bunny symbolism means a whole lot of procreation, a whole lot of activity that leads to babies. And I thought, now, wait a minute. That ship has sailed. I'm not thinking in that direction. So, but I looked up, you know, rabbit symbolism, bunny symbolism, and I saw that bunnies are also, you know, affiliated with good luck and prosperity and abundance and, you know, things that I would welcome into my life. I could use some good luck and good fortune and also fun. So if you are seeing, you know, animals or certain things over and over again, whether it be numbers, you know, some people have been telling me they've been seeing numbers repeatedly, like 111 or 1111 or 444, things like that. Those numbers often have symbolic meaning behind them that they could be trying to tell you something. But I think the only other thing I would like to encourage is maybe try to find some joy of your own. You know, these have been some really weird times, and it's been really easy to get frustrated or nervous or even fearful or scared or worried or, you know, pick your emotion that doesn't feel like much fun. And if anything, dragonfly, you know, just the meaning behind dragonfly and the fact that it keeps showing up, is just have some fun. Find your joy, be adaptable to change, and know that transformation is coming. More than anything, I think it's a message that change is in the air. Change is coming. And we can anticipate that change is going to be a good thing. I know there are a lot of people freaking out. Oh my God, the world's going to hell in a handbasket and things aren't the way they used to be and things are really, really, really bad and they're going to get worse. And how about we drop all that? That's not a fun way to try to create a future. What if we just expect, change is in the works, and things are going to be better than ever. They're going to be different. And for some people, different is inherently scary. But if we can just accept that change is happening and then really think, and envision and believe that positive change is possible, and that that's what we can strive for, and that's where we can put our emotions and our feelings and our energy and our attention and intention, we can help create a better world. And I really think that the dragonfly symbolism is a reminder that that is indeed the case. So today, friends, I just want to encourage, look at nature around you. There's messages and meaning everywhere around us in nature if we just have hearts and eyes and ears open enough to pay attention, and then a willingness to go see what it all means and how it applies to our life. And the other thing that I would simply encourage is, yes, change is upon us, and it doesn't have to be scary. We can usher in a better world, but it's going to take leading forward with hearts filled with love and optimism rather than the opposite. So I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Happy new moon, another great energy for ushering in change and transformation. But have a wonderful night. See you next time.